The mysteries of ancient Egypt have fascinated the world for millennia. This civilization, which flourished on the banks of the Nile, built monuments and achieved feats that continue to awe us to this day. From the pyramids of Giza to the vast temples of Karnak, from their understanding of medicine to their intricate hieroglyphic language, Egypt's legacy is both enigmatic and awe-inspiring. What made this civilization so unique? How did they build such monumental structures without the modern technology we have today? What secrets lie hidden in the vast desert, waiting to be uncovered? At its peak, ancient Egypt was one of the most advanced and powerful civilizations in the world. It was a land where religion and science were intertwined, where every aspect of life was governed by the belief in divine order, and where even death was viewed as a continuation of the journey towards immortality. The Egyptians believed that life and death were part of a larger cosmic cycle. To them, the pharaoh was not merely a king but a divine being, a god-king whose duty was to maintain the order of the universe. Known as Mat, the pharaoh's role was to protect the land, ensure the proper flow of the Nile, and mediate between the gods and the people. This belief in divine order was reflected in the Egyptians' extraordinary architectural achievements. The construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza, which still stands today as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, is a testament to their advanced knowledge of mathematics and engineering. The pyramid was built with over 2 million limestone blocks, each weighing several tons, and is aligned with such precision that it remains a marvel of ancient engineering. Some even suggest that the alignment of the pyramids with the stars, especially with Orion, was no accident. The Egyptians believed that the stars were the souls of the gods, and the pyramids were designed to help the pharaoh's soul ascend to the heavens after death. The precision with which the pyramids were built has led to numerous theories about the ancient Egyptians' knowledge of geometry, astronomy, and possibly even lost technologies that have yet to be fully understood. But the pyramids were not just architectural feats, they were the culmination of a deeper spiritual belief. The Egyptians saw the pyramid as a symbol of the sun's rays, a connection between the earth and the heavens. Their belief in the afterlife was profound, and they took great care in preparing for it. The mummification process, for example, was not merely a way to preserve the body but a ritual to ensure the soul's survival in the afterlife. The process was complex, involving the removal of internal organs, the drying out of the body with natron, and the wrapping of the body in linen. The Egyptians believed that the soul would need its body in the afterlife, and so the mummies were often placed in elaborate tombs with treasures, food, and goods to sustain the deceased in the next world. This deep spiritual belief also influenced their incredible knowledge of the stars. The Egyptians had an advanced understanding of astronomy, and their priests studied the movements of the celestial bodies with great precision. The alignment of the pyramids and temples with the stars, as well as their use of a calendar based on the lunar and solar cycles, shows how much the Egyptians valued the stars and their role in the divine order. Some scholars even suggest that the Great Pyramid was built to align with the star Sirius, which was important in Egyptian cosmology as the star associated with the goddess Isis. But the Egyptians did not only look to the heavens, they also advanced in fields like medicine, mathematics, and engineering. The Egyptians were skilled physicians, and they created some of the earliest known medical texts. The Ebers Papyrus, a medical document dating back to around 1550 BCE, contains detailed descriptions of treatments for ailments ranging from simple cuts and bruises to more serious conditions like heart disease and tumors. The Egyptians also had an understanding of anatomy, as evidenced by their practice of mummification, which required them to remove internal organs and preserve the body. Some historians even suggest that the Egyptians were pioneers in surgery and dentistry, with evidence of tooth fillings and dental implants found in ancient tombs. In terms of mathematics, the Egyptians had a sophisticated understanding of geometry and arithmetic, which they used to construct their monumental buildings and design the pyramids. They used simple tools like ropes and plumb bobs to achieve precise measurements, and their knowledge of basic principles like the Pythagorean theorem allowed them to construct their buildings with remarkable accuracy. It is believed that the Egyptians were also the first to use a form of written numerals to record calculations, a precursor to modern mathematics. In daily life, the Egyptians were also highly organized. The economy was based on agriculture, supported by the annual flooding of the Nile River. This flooding deposited nutrient-rich silt on the land, which allowed the Egyptians to grow crops like wheat, barley, and flax. They built sophisticated irrigation systems to control the flow of water and ensure that their crops received enough moisture. In addition to farming, the Egyptians engaged in trade with other civilizations, including the Nubians to the south, the Mesopotamians to the east, and the Mediterranean civilizations to the north. This trade brought valuable goods like gold, incense, and ivory into Egypt, and it also allowed the Egyptians to spread their culture and influence throughout the ancient world. Egyptian society was hierarchical, with the pharaoh at the top, followed by a class of priests, scribes, and officials who helped run the day-to-day operations of the kingdom. Below them were the artisans, craftsmen, and farmers who made up the majority of the population. Although Egypt was a theocratic society, the people enjoyed a certain level of freedom in their personal lives. Women, for example, had the right to own property, divorce, and even hold positions of power, as seen in the case of Queen Hatshepsut, one of Egypt's most successful rulers. The Egyptians also had a rich cultural life, with a deep appreciation for art, literature, and music. The walls of their tombs and temples were decorated with intricate carvings and paintings depicting scenes from daily life, religious rituals, and mythological stories. The Egyptians also had a thriving literary tradition, with works like the pyramid texts and the coffin texts, which were inscribed in the tombs of pharaohs and nobles. These texts were meant to guide the deceased in the afterlife, providing them with spells and instructions for navigating the underworld. Despite their achievements, however, Egypt was not immune to change. Over the centuries, Egypt was invaded by a number of foreign powers, including the Hyksos, the Assyrians, the Persians, and eventually the Greeks and Romans. Each of these invasions left its mark on Egyptian culture, blending Egyptian traditions with those of the invaders. One of the most significant of these foreign influences came with the conquest of Egypt by Alexander the Great, who founded the city of Alexandria and ushered in the era of the Ptolemaic dynasty. The last of the Ptolemaic rulers, Cleopatra, would be the last pharaoh of Egypt before it became a province of the Roman Empire. But even after the fall of ancient Egypt as a political entity, its legacy continued to influence the world. The wisdom of the Egyptians, particularly their knowledge of architecture, medicine, and mathematics, was passed down through the centuries. The symbols of ancient Egypt, especially the iconic Eye of Horus and the Ankh, continue to be recognized and revered around the world today. Egypt's mythology, with its pantheon of gods and goddesses, remains a source of fascination for writers, artists, and filmmakers, inspiring countless works of fiction and popular culture. As modern scholars continue to study the remains of ancient Egypt, they are constantly uncovering new information that sheds light on the lives of this incredible civilization. Every tomb, every artifact, and every hieroglyph is a key that unlocks a small piece of the vast puzzle that is ancient Egypt. And though many of the mysteries of this ancient civilization may never be fully understood, one thing is certain: the legacy of ancient Egypt will continue to inspire and captivate generations to come. The wisdom, The art, the science, and the enduring spirit of Egypt live on, reminding us that even in death, the pharaohs and the people of Egypt continue to shape our world. This version is now much longer, still covering key elements of ancient Egypt in an expanded format.